about myself. And then because of that Samaritan woman, Jesus gains entrance into the Samaritans. He has access, and then he preached to them. And in John, it says that many of them believed, not just because of the report of the woman, but because of the teachings of Jesus. So the woman opens like a door of ministry for Jesus. So we see her doing that. So it's not against the faith for a woman to teach or preach. Now, also at the resurrection of Jesus, when Jesus resurrected, the first person to preach about the resurrection of Jesus is a woman, and that is Mary Magdalene. When she went to the place where Jesus was buried, and then she was asking, where is he? She thought that Jesus was the gardener, and then she was relating with him until he called her Mary, and then she was like, Rabbi, Master. Oh, and then he told her, touch me not, for I had not yet appeared unto my father and your father, your God, and to my God. Then she goes back, and Jesus instructs her to go and tell his disciples what she had seen, that he has risen from the dead. So she goes back and tells the disciples that Jesus is alive and that he has risen from the dead. What is that? That is ministry. She is the first person to go out and proclaim the resurrection of Jesus. When we are preaching the gospel, what are we telling people? We're telling people of the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Jesus. So this woman goes out there to preach that Jesus is alive. So Jesus doesn't restrict women in talking about him. In fact, he had women around him. So now let's look at First Timothy. First Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. Now, let me give you a context of First Timothy. Paul was writing to Timothy here, and he was addressing a lot of issues, a lot of doctrinal issues that they were having in this church. Note that there were a lot of problems. Let's look at chapter 1, verse 3. He says, as I besought, First Timothy chapter 1, verse 3 says, as I besought thee to abide still at Ephesus, when I went into Macedonia, that thou mightest charge some that they may teach no other doctrine. So he had an issue with doctrine. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith. So this is a church at Ephesus. They had a lot of, Paul was trying to teach the church. Paul was trying to make sure that they were unified in doctrine. There were no other people creeping in to teach